This month we are starting. It's a really they're all powerful topics, and we're talking about holy boldness. Uh,
Mhm.
the first thing I thought of when I heard of that, again, just dating myself, although the TV shows are still on, the Batman, when it came to
Oh,
the
that's right.
TV, and Robin would always say, holy something or other, you
Mhm.
know, Robin the Boy Wonder. He would say, holy whatever, Batman, and so holy boldness, everybody, and
What does that
and it's
mean to you, Reverend Rodney? Holy boldness. Can you
that's the
share what
theme of the
it means
month.
to you? What does it mean to you?
Yeah, well, the holy boldness, first of all, to be bold can go in any direction. Uh, and being bold means stepping outside of who we normally present ourselves to be, unless, of course, you're bold 24/7. Um, and maybe some people are. However, bold means we rise to the occasion. For me, being bold means that whatever's going on, we don't we don't go small or stay small. We the whole theme of the year is grand rising, and
That's right.
I add to that consciousness, grand rising consciousness. And quite often, we will need some measure of boldness to rise above wherever we've been previously and to add holy to it. So, a holy boldness means that, yeah, we're operating on a spiritual level. We're operating in a metaphysical level, incorporating the spiritual principles, the spiritual lessons, the spiritual ideals of our Christ nature is what makes it holy. Not just being bold, maybe in detrimental ways, because it could go that way as well. Now we're talking about holy, 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 holy. So to me, that's what it is. What about you, leader? How does that reflect upon you?
It's really allowing yourself to open up to your greatest potential,
Mm-hmm.
to being authentic.
Yeah.
To be bold is to be authentic for me, and being true to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So holy boldness is stepping into that spiritual greatness of yourself that's already within,
Mm-hmm.
and just being authentic about it.
Yeah, and it includes courageousness, tenacity,
Mhm.
um, listening, not just listening, but keen listening, sharp listening, meaning, we don't go for the okey doke, it's like it's so easy to dismiss things because it's
Yeah.
easy. And sometimes uh, we're required to use strength, and there's strength in boldness.
Mhm.
Uh, I mean, if you have to lift something up, uh, you're going to have to use a measure of strength. Maybe not
Yes.
all of your strength, but it's like boldness. Sometimes we have to be bold in speaking up about something, to
You're both.
ourselves or to somebody else. We have to take a bold step.
Mhm.
Some, and it's interesting because when we take a bold step, the following steps get easier. It's like,
Give you
oh,
more courage. It gives you more courage.
that's right, that's right.
Mhm.
And so it's like this sacred knowing that's within us. We know when we have to step up, when we have to act boldly, and the thing is, it feels terrible when we don't. You know what I mean? And what happens? We have the afterthought.
Mhm.
I should have done that. I should have said something. I
Start
should.
shooting on ourselves.
Yeah, right. And I love that because usually, well, it also means it may not be too late uh, to take whatever necessary steps in being bold. And usually, the opposite of being bold is being fearful of. We're bold despite the consequences or possible consequences.
Mhm.
However, fear is fearful of the consequences and won't let us move courageously or boldly with faith and trust, into whatever that circumstance is.
Mhm.
And so we're talking about not only bold, holy boldness, but the actual theme for today is sacred audacity.
Mm,
Okay, so to have the audacity to be bold uh, in a sacred way. Okay, so that mean and never liked that word sacred. I'll tell you, for a long time, sacred was like it was almost like the word obey, which I didn't like either. It was like it seems like
okay.
I just got to give up something that I don't want to give up.
Mm,
It's more like make it sacred, meaning, yeah, I'm gonna have to uh, be more than I'm willing to be in the moment. I'm not going to have to uh, be understanding and generous at times
mm,
when I feel like holding back. And to make something sacred means to give special attention to something. Is
mm,
is to is to make something special ahead of a whole lot of other things. And to me, that's like, well, I have to make it special, and that means I have to give it my time and attention and give it my love and appreciation and gratitude. And I have to go all that spiritual route to make
right.
something sacred. Now, of course, people can make negative things sacred. That's their choice,
Mm,
you know. However, we usually think of that word in a higher level, in a higher sense, to make it sacred. However, a sacred audacity means I'm making audacity special. It's a
mm,
special cause. It's for a special reason. It's like I'm making a choice to to live in a way that it's just going to stand out.
mhm.
It's like audacious means, all lights on that one. Here's a wonderful quote. Thank you for bringing that up. You want to read that, please?
The audacity to proclaim freedom
Mm.
via rest in the now. Rest has been the revolutionary for my soul, and that's by Tricia Hersey. Rest is resistance, a manifesto. I'd like to read that again. The audacity to proclaim freedom via rest in the now. Rest has been a revolutionary for my soul. Hmm.
Yeah. So, and when I first saw that quote, um, I thought, wow, what does that have to do with audacity? Rest. Well, sometimes, and I know a number of people who like to rush into things, do things spontaneously, however, and exhaust themselves
Hmm.
in trying to get something done. And sometimes it means that, you know what, let me sit back for a moment and listen. Well, as I mentioned before, it's being bold doesn't always mean jumping into action. Sometimes it means listening, being
Mhm,
still, in
mhm,
spite of something that might be happening. Um, you know, it's funny because I was watching a movie on TV, and one of the things, if you are in the outdoors in nature in the country and you see a bear and it looked like it's going to attack you, the thing to do is lay perfectly still, because if you run, it's going to view you as a threat or prey or
Pray.
so. So you just have to be still,
Mm.
completely still, and that takes a lot of boldness. you know
Sure does.
Now, that's not the same for all animals. Some animals you're going to have to run, but from a bear, you have to be still. You got to know these things too. So part of that is that knowingness that I also mentioned, a keen inner listening and innate knowing to deliver us from and through anything. So, it's a combination, and we have to really be aware in that moment. And so, rest is one of those things that doesn't always occur to us. Rest is like, whoa. For me to be still, it's like usually when I hear "be still," the other part of that, and know that I am God.
Mhm,
To know that the power and the presence of the divine is with me at all times, and I can rest in that. I rest in thee. I rest in the knowingness that all is well. And that can definitely be a sacred, audacious moment
Mm-hmm.
when the expectation is to maybe do, and just step back for a moment. So thank you for pointing that out.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So
You know, you had a quote, "Be still and know that I am God," and I've heard that so many times being broken down into a
mm,
smaller sentence. Have you seen that where it's "Be still and know that I am God"? Be still and know that I am. Be
mm,
still and know. Be still and then be. And each one is a full sentence as you break it down.
as
And
well as
being just be, just
yeah,
being in that space. Yeah.
and I am is a complete sentence as well.
I am is a complete sentence. Yes, it is.
Those are like the two powerful words in our language is I am. And
Mhm,
that's the acknowledgement and awareness of the presence of the divine in, through, and as all of creation, and of course each and every one of us.
mhm,
And so I love that because one of the points that we're bringing up is this inner courage. Okay,
mm.
it's like we don't have to prove anything on the outside. It's an inner courage. It's
Yes.
like and it starts with our thoughts because we have the thought to act courageously. And at that moment, we have a choice. We have the choice to convince ourselves, if necessary, to be courageous.
Mhm,
uh, and usually, if that's the case, then we're not thinking courageously in the beginning. We're
mhm,
like, oh, I have to think courageously. What would courage do? What would I do with the courage?
mhm.
Uh,
There's a great quote that we have here on,
uh-huh.
and it brings courage into play. Keep alert, stand firm in your faith, be courageous, be
Mm,
strong. Let all that you do be done in love. I love that
mm.
quote. You were bringing up courageous. I just wanted to bring that up.
Well, I'm glad that you did. That is, to me, that's something that maybe is not uh, one of the more popular quotes from the Christian Bible. you
Mhm.
know, uh, yeah, and I
Yeah.
love that because and it talks has be in there.
Mhm,
Be attitudes, be
mhm,
qualities, um,
mhm.
and it talks about love. Most certainly, a New Testament quote, and so how can we get to keep alert yet pay attention and be courageous,
Mhm.
meaning nothing has even happened yet,
Right.
but we stand ready, we stand firm, you know, in the
Mhm.
face of a giant bear, you
Right.
know.
And isn't being courageous, loving yourself when you are
Mhm.
standing in that courage, you're really standing in love for yourself.
Yes.
Mm.
And we ask ourselves questions um, when it comes to being bold, being courageous, being audacious. And I think it's in all of our thinking and activities is is it is am I doing do I choose to do this in loving kindness, or is it going to be detrimental or harmful to others? and
Mhm.
and 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 that's the thing, it gets our little self out of the way, which does take courage and boldness, because I'm saying it's easier to let the little self do what it wants, to
Right.
listen to the ego,
Mm.
to like I, like the little 2-year old, I want. That's mine, that's mine, that's mine, you know.
Mhm.
However, how is it affecting others? Is it loving kindness? Is it bringing love and joy you around us that people are like, wow, I like having that person around. Sometimes it takes courage to stand in love
Yes.
when others or the thought inside might be selfish.
Mhm.
Do it for me. This is what I want, regardless of what might be serving others. Uh,
Mhm.
it always reminds me of that song, "No Man Is an Island." No man stands alone. We are here for each other, and it takes inner courage. It takes that courage to take a stand for love, to take a stand for each other. And taking a stand for love might seem like I'm taking a stand for loving everyone at all the time. And yeah, it does. However, it starts with us
Mm-hmm.
loving
Self.
self. The God self is really what it's all about. Recognizing that, yeah, God created me out of itself, so therefore I have the same qualities as the creator. And I always say God loves itself so much it created me and you and everything else to see how beautiful it is as
Mm-hmm.
all of this individualized expressions of itself. And so because of that, there is a deep connection, a spiritual connection. And sacred audacity allows us to do things we normally don't think that we can. When we have that connection, it's like, and one of the reasons that I invited you to join today is because I think what you're doing is very audacious, is very bold, uh, and in what you do, um, for a living. At least one of the things that I know that you do for a living is for the Aura Clubhouse, and
Yes.
I know that that's not an easy thing to do. It's easier to let somebody else do it, to let somebody else run this clubhouse that happens nationally. However, right where you are, it's a not for profit. There's like with most not for profits everywhere. Go through very similar things like where's the money coming from? How do
Right.
I serve my constituents, my clients? Uh, and so this, if you could just speak a little bit about that spiritual
Sure.
connection that it takes to do that.
Thank you so much for allowing me to share that. It does take courage from all the people within. We are Aura Clubhouse, and we're part of an international organization, but we are the only one in Marion County. And Clubhouse is a recovery through work program for people who are recovering from or living with mental illness. And what we do is we allow them to have a space to be in where they can slowly integrate back into society and back into the workforce. And for those who are living with mental illness, that can be an audacious move for them. This can be something
Mm,
that can really uh, change the way they live their lives, having that opportunity to see that no matter what you're going through, there is an opportunity for you to grow from where you are and to get the support that you need. And so for Aura Clubhouse here in Marion County, we have the privilege of being able to serve this population of people who are in great need of
mm,
support to have a place back in society, that the mental illness does not deter you from being a supportive and contributing member to our community. So that's what
mm,
we're helping with here. And I see courage, Reverend Rodney, every single day in the members when they come in
mm,
here and they choose to be here and they choose to learn something new and they grow with us. It's really an amazing organization that 7 patients started back in 1948 on the steps of the New York City Library. That's
mm,
where it started. They felt that they needed that peer support from one another. They formed a club while they were in that facility. Um, in that facility, and when they were released, they felt like, I still need this.
mm.
And they had the courage to step out and say, let's continue to support one another. And
Right.
luckily, 2 women found out about it, and they gave them a house to live in. They called it the clubhouse because they're not patients, they're not, clients, they're members of
Mm,
something that they can contribute to and grow. So I see it every day, the courage of these members. Again, thank you so much for allowing me to share that. We certainly, all of us are in some way or another, how I like to say, the greatest thing that we could ever do is to serve humanity. And all of us in one way or another are doing that. I do it through the Aura Clubhouse. You do it through One Love. So we're serving in some way, serving humanity and having the courage to stand up and be audacious and say, this is what I believe in. And I believe that this is, what I am called to do.
Yeah.
So, yeah, thank you.
Awesome. You're welcome. Thank you. And thank you for answering the call to the Oral Clubhouse because, and being strong with them because I know you've had to do some courageous things to help keep that going and for the members. And here's a quote that just pops up. It says, "Every desire you have for betterment in life is some echo from deep within, which forever proclaims, 'Behold, I make all things new.'"
Oh, I
Ernest
love
Holmes, this thing called you, founder of Science of Mind and Spirit. And
Mhm.
yes, you know, and I truly believe there are so many of us that most of us have a desire for a betterment in life,
Mhm.
and it does come from deep within because yes, that presence of God, whatever you want to call it, whatever name doesn't matter. It's always making something new out of itself for us to benefit with, not just from, but with
Right.
and that's faith and trust that says I make all things new,
Mm.
and we know that from within, and that's the foundation that we walk on, and like making it new for your members to like, hey, you know what, this is something different. I mean, it's got to be scary in a lot of ways for a lot of people to make change in their life in areas
Mhm.
where that seemed closed before, and
Right.
here's a new opportunity, you know
Mhm.
yeah.
Mhm.
That's
Right. It
my
is scary for them to step out of the isolation that they live in. So this is where I see the courage that they choose to step out of that isolation and come into humanity again and be
yeah,
part of society again. Yeah. Mhm.
absolutely. I just want to do a quick shout out to Reverend Madeline Katz. Hi, Madeline. Thank you for joining us. Yeah, definitely a friend, a mentor, a wonderful practitioner, minister, and we're going to have her back soon too. And it's really interesting um, because when we're talking about this spiritual connection in being audacious, it helps to know so much. It helps to know that you have a foundation, you have something to bank on, something to walk on. It's like we're not walking just in mud or in sand or quicksand. We got a strong foundation, stronger than concrete, that will carry us through, and we can depend on it. And an interesting thing also is this spiritual connection. I remember so many years ago when I didn't realize anything about spirit, and I was floundering in life, and my belief was so shaky. I didn't think that I could have any kind of change in my life occur, positive change. Someone said, uh, "If you have trouble believing, just believe that I believe."
Mhm.
Have faith in
Yes.
the fact that I believe you can do it. If you don't think you can do it, just believe that I believe.
I'll believe
And
for
that
you.
was enough of of faith, enough of a foundation for me to take steps, for me to begin to learn to love myself. Another saying is, "Let us love you till you learn to love yourself."
Yourself.
And I was
Yes.
like, "Wow, okay, I can work
Mhm.
on that,"
Mhm.
because I had to be open. You know, when we're going through difficult times, as you mentioned,
Mm.
the belief, that there are people here to be of service for one another. That's what we need for each other.
Yes.
You, you
Yes.
know, and sometimes it takes boldness to step out and to step in, to step up
Mhm.
in being of service. Selfless service is
Yes.
the key, and that's the spiritual connection. Is recognizing that all that is going on in the world, even the oxygen, all of this is here for us. It's for us to be able to do what we are here to do, and most certainly who and what we are here to be. So I
Right.
really thank you for that. And the thing to do, one of the things to do is to start with your imagination.
Mm.
Uh, right? There's no better time than now to start cultivating the sacred audacity. And it starts with our thoughts. There's a quote there about time honored quote that, I mean, I'm sure it was before all of the major religions that are happening now. And it's said now in the simplest of words: it is done unto you as you believe.
Yes.
Okay, Matthew 8:13 from the Christian Holy Bible. And a lot of people don't like that.
Right.
Yeah, it can be, it again, it takes boldness to take a look at what are you believing about dot dot dot.
Yes.
What you believe about yourself, what you believe about the world, what you believe about anything and everything.
And the
And
operative word in that is the word as. That small little word right there. It is done as you believe. And it's something that I think I've never read it that way. It is as you believe. It is what you see to be the truth. So whatever that is, whatever your experience is, whatever you have been brought up as, that word as, it changed it for me. So it is done as you believe. So all that
mhm.
really culminates to that one little word, that it's not what you wish or what you hope. It is as you believe.
And
I thought
it
that
is done. And that's
was as,
another thing. It
yes,
that
that it is
uh,
done as you believe. Yes.
so it
So,
takes a personal responsibility, accountability to like,
mm-hmm.
okay, let me take a look at what I'm believing.
Mm-hmm.
And my take on believing is be living. How you be living. You know, so
Mm-hmm.
take a look at how you living. Then you know
Right.
what you believe.
Right.
And if there's something about it you don't like, well, then you can use your imagination.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, imagination, imagine is a powerful word. Don't take it lightly, because within that word, I am,
Mm-hmm.
imagine, I am magic, you know.
Yes.
And if you know anything about magic, the magicians or the magi,
Mm-hmm.
okay, then they knew metaphysics. They knew how to use their word. They knew how to use the energy in their belief, to get things done. Uh, so that's we have that same power, the same ability to use our thoughts of things, to use our thoughts and have them become firm in belief to show up in our lives, and especially to help others.
I want
That's really what it's about.
I want to show this from Reverend Katz. Yes,
Yes.
for as and as to me also means at the moment I believe.
I love that.
I love that. Thank you
Yes,
so
yes.
much for that.
And that's a saving grace, because at any moment we can change what we believe.
Yes,
you
doesn't that
know
happen often?
well, yeah, because if you're finding yourself mired in a bunch of BS, and
Mm,
you know what that means, um, in a BS that all of a sudden you've acquired, and BS stands for belief system.
system.
Well, you can change it in the
Mm,
moment. We don't have to. It's not written in stone. We can change these thoughts and beliefs.
mm-hmm,
And we
mm-hmm.
have Ellen that has added our practitioner has added
Oh, yes.
the power of our word. Yes, once we accept this true about each one of us, life will shift.
Yes, it
Yeah.
will. Mm-hmm.
And thank you, Ellen, for that. Yes, indeed.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because there is another quote that I want to throw in there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, anyway, we got a whole bunch of quotes. We're not going to
I
do them
know,
all.
and I'm loving all of them. I want to show them all.
it says, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, the mind can achieve. That's from Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill.
It starts
So,
first in the mind. It begins first in the mind. And
yes.
so I've seen it happen over and over and over in my own life. Just the thought of what I believe
Mhm.
is achievable, and
Yeah.
not fixating on that, but knowing it, the
Mhm.
knowing of it. Not the wishing, not the hoping of it, but the knowing of it, and just that feeling in your heart. There's so many things that come into play with the design of our lives, and
Mhm.
part of it, it's the feeling that you have, the thoughts that you bring forward, and the words that you speak. They all contribute to the life that you lead, don't they?
Yeah,
What do you think?
absolutely. Oh no, absolutely. Oh yes, absolutely. Uh, yeah, and okay. So one more quote. It says, "If you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change." As for Max Planck, German theoretical physicist, and it's so interesting because this is uh, this what was we used to call religious science. It's the
Mhm.
study of mind and spirit. All right,
Mm,
and it's a science of study, looking for things that are perpetually the same by law.
mhm,
Because it's a science. We look at like, well, it's repeatable. It's going to happen over and over and over again. That's why we have scientific prayer. And 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 so here's a scientist who's saying, if you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change. Now, there's
mhm,
a Bible uh, saying that says, turn the other cheek. A lot of
mm,
people think that means if you get hit on one side, well, just turn the other cheek because you're so understanding and loving and forgiving. Just let him hit you again on the other side. No, that's not what it means.
mm,
It means when you turn the other cheek, you see things from a different perspective. You see things
mm.
differently. And therefore, you're going to have a different experience. You're not going to believe that it had to be that one way. You're going to
Right.
believe that, oh, wait, there's another possibility,
Mhm.
and we're not holding ourselves to only one
Okay.
perception. Yes.
I had to share this one too because I love
Okay.
that you included this. Follow your heart and keep following it, and you will know happiness. The kind of happiness that doesn't disappear, the kind that grows. And that's by
Mm,
Elizabeth Day, Living with Gusto.
all
I
right.
love that quote. It is follow your heart. It's all about the emotion, and just believing in not giving up, but following where it is leading you to, and it's leading you towards something that brings happiness to you, hopefully.
Yeah, greater happiness for one and all. And if one of us is not happy, then none of us really are happy.
Mhm,
We might settle for less, thinking that, oh yeah, yeah, I'm happy.
mhm,
However, when we have happiness shared, then that's really something. So what can we do? How do we find a way to examine our beliefs and
mm,
to look at our lives in a loving and trusting and supportive way? Well, here's a question that you can take a look at. It says, do I have any hidden beliefs or perceptions about being bold and audacious? In other words, is there anything keeping me back from
mhm,
being bold and audacious? So you ask yourself these questions.
mhm,
Okay. Of course, you don't have to have an answer right away. It might take a little while. Look, usually, now that you've all seen this, regardless of when you're watching this, there's going to be an opportunity to examine your belief because there's going to be something that's going to come up where you can be bold and audacious. And then you have a decision to make.
mhm,
Okay. And if you decide not to be, this is your opportunity to take a look at it. And if you decide to be audacious and bold, you get to look at it also. Like, wow, okay, there's a hidden belief there, but I overcame it. Or there's a hidden belief, it's not hidden anymore. Okay, I
mhm,
I, I could step through it. Okay, so we have to do that work within ourselves. Like I'm saying, it may not be easy, but it's certainly worthwhile.
mhm.
Okay, and then there's another question, and it says, what do I need to release in order to take action
Oh,
with audacity?
That's all about comfort, isn't it, Reverend Rodney? It's all
Yes.
about I'm comfortable here. I don't want to cause any waves. I don't know what's there. I already know this.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
I'm not ready to release.
that's
But
true.
you do find all of a sudden, wow, if I only knew that it would be this great. Now that I can release this, what do I need to release? What's holding me back? What's telling me that I'm not courageous enough about? you know,
Hmm.
questions you have to ask yourself, and be bold enough to stand up and look at yourself in the mirror and say,
Absolutely.
here it is, and here's something greater, here's something better.
That's right. And trust that it is, even if you don't know that it is.
Mm,
Because when we're doing this kind of work, most of the time, the first answer that comes through is the right answer. And then we want to argue, well, oh no, well, wait a minute, what about no? Check out the first thing that comes through.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Like fear. No, 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 it can't be fear. I'm not afraid of it.
Right.
No, play with it. Check it out. Check it out.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last question, you might
Just
come up with more, however, how
yep.
can I incorporate sacred audacity into my spiritual practice? So
Mm,
imagine and use your imagination. We mentioned that earlier. Use your imagination. It's a powerful tool. Spiritual practice, your meditation. Uh, maybe you're going to read something that's going to reflect directly upon looking within.
mm-hmm.
It's like a lot of times, do I really want to read that? Because I know I'm going to see myself in there, and
Right.
uh, maybe later. Oh no,
Yeah.
check it out now. Sacred spiritual practice.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, they allow yourself to do visioning with a group or yourself. The life visioning process. You can find out about it, and and use it consistently. And it takes boldness to go
Yes.
through with it, to be
Mm-hmm.
willing, to be led, to be vulnerable, to take a
Mm-hmm.
look at trusting more than our same old thoughts running through our head and trying to make them happen over and over and over again and think that
Mm-hmm.
that's what's going to make us happy.
Right.
They say happiness is an inside job. Well, yeah, that's true, but happiness still depends on what's happening on the outside. Okay. Uh, Stick with joy. Joy is eternal, everlasting.
Mm,
Okay.
I like
Joy
that.
doesn't depend on
Joy.
anything happening. Joy is joy all by itself. Love is love all by itself. Doesn't need anything to qualify it or
Mhm.
quantify it. You know.
Yes.
So so go with those questions and see how they can you know help you out in determining where you're going to use your courage, or how you're going to use your courage, or if you're going to use your courage, if you're going to be bold and audacious. And so we also have some things to help you as well, and they're called affirmations.
Oh,
And so
yes.
we're going to do some affirmations. I invite you to take a deep breath, and this is
Mm.
for everyone. Of course, if you're not driving, don't close your eyes, or operating, power tools.
Machinery. Yes.
All right, and so um, let's go within. Take a breath. It is so that I am bold, courageous, and brave.
Mm.
Let's take a breath and do that again. It is so that I am bold, courageous, and brave. Lita, next one.
Take another deep breath in. It is so that I let go of any fears and focus on faith. Let's take another deep breath, shall we? It is so that I let go of any fears and focus on faith.
Thank you. And take a breath. It is so that I use faith and trust in my spiritual connection to achieve the seemingly impossible.
Mm.
Let's take a breath on this one. It is so that I use faith and trust in my spiritual connection to achieve the seemingly impossible.
Mm.
And so it is, and now it is. Yes.
Yes, yes,
All
yes.
right. So please join me in this spiritual mind
Mhm.
this affirmative prayer to cement home what we've already been talking about, to create a firm foundation in our minds, knowing that right where I am, the I am presence, oh, it is the presence of the divine. That is true for me and each and every one, wherever you are, wherever we are. There's only one. And in this space of oneness, in this one mind that is shared by all, I am knowing that it is reflecting all good, first and foremost, that with bold, holy boldness, I am saying yes to all the good that is ready and willing and able to show up in and as my life in each moment, thanking Reverend Madeline for knowing that as in this present moment, in this holy moment, yes, each I am presence gets to be audacious in a sacred way, allowing for only that highest and best good to flow, to overflow out of our lives into the lives of each and every one. Everyone says yes for this sacredness to have its way, to be vulnerable, to let it have its way. It does take an audacity to move beyond the smallness, this to move beyond the same old, to know a greater truth. And I know that this shows up in all of our affairs, in our relationships, in our relationship with money, with people, with health, all of the goodness that we desire, a relationship with success, by saying, yes, I am being bold enough in a holy way to succeed where I may have even failed before, where others may have failed. And yet, I can succeed where others have succeeded. And so, in this way, there is a holy boldness to be more, to be even greater than I was yesterday or yesterdays. That each and every one gets to move beyond their previous self. The universe is always expanding, always making more of itself, greater good to go around from the inside out. And I know this for each and every one. I claim this knowing that it is the powerful word being spoken. It is done unto each and every one of us as we believe in the highest and the best. Holy boldness. Yes, it's a dare. I am daring each and every one to be bold, holy bold, in a sacred, audacious way. I speak this word knowing it is already manifesting, already coming true, that there is a conspiracy for this greater good that is happening even now in ways seen and unseen, and I allow it to be the good that it unfolds to be according to the law into which this word is spoken, the unerring law that says, name it and claim it. It says, yes, call on me, I will answer, I will appear, I'll make it so. I know this is a truth. I affirm each one to know this truth by saying it is so, and so it is, and now it is. Peace and blessings, beloved. Thank you.
Wonderful. All right. Well, what you heard was that prayer, and now we're moving on. Thank you so much, Reverend Rodney. You're just so good at this. We're moving on to our abundance, and it is without you, we couldn't exist here. And we're so grateful for those of you who join us, if not live, you come and you listen to the recording, and we're just so happy to have you here. But now I'd like you to place your hands on your heart, and let's do an affirmation of abundance. I encourage you to go ahead and screenshot this so that you can have it for yourselves and paste it up in your office or in your home, and something that you can say over and over. So let's go ahead with our affirmation of abundance. Money, as one of the many gifts of spirit, is good. As I share my offerings, I know that I am actively creating a space to receive more gifts, more money, and more good. I am grateful for the ability to give and for the good works these gives do in our center and in our world. And so it is, and now it is. Thank you so much. And Reverend Rodney, bringing you back. Oh.
Here I am. And welcome back. Yes. And
Mhm.
I'd like to welcome back. I mentioned we have Ellen and Madeline and Peter Roth, and hopefully Peter Roth's screen, he hears us, he doesn't see us.
Mhm.
So hopefully that works out for you as well.
Yes.
And we do have some announcements I'll do quickly.
Okay.
And
Uh,
um,
you want me to put those up? Or you know them
yeah,
by
sure.
heart.
That would be great.
Okay.
Thank you. Of course, first and foremost, we're requesting a member, a friend, associate, a friend of a friend for technical assistance in managing our broadcast. If you like to do that, if you'd like to know how to do that, contact us through our website, email oneLove@onelovecenter.org. You call 844-295-5155 to be of service. Bless you and thank you. And also,
We're doing.
please consider being bold. Move into living beyond your limiting beliefs by registering for our class, Beyond Limits.
You
And
should
go to our
really register for this class. It's a great class, Beyond Limits. I did it several years ago, and it's worth repeating. I would encourage you to do that. Please consider this class. I think it will benefit you greatly.
absolutely. Yeah, it can hurt, it can only help.
That's
Uh,
right.
right. So you're also invited to the People of African Descent in New Thought group celebrating our soul conference. This is the second conference. We did one 2 years ago. This one is consciously creating change. Can't
Mm,
go wrong with that.
mhm,
And yes, it's going to take some boldness to consciously create change. Can't just
mhm,
let it happen on its own. This is August 1st to the 4th, 2024 at Unity Village. You can go to the website www.padntg.com. You can find us on Facebook as well. We also have the CSL Convention of the Americas in Chapala, Mexico, August 6th to the 10th. Registration is now open, and you can go to www.conventionoftheamericas.com, all one word,
mhm.
/. All right. So thank you again for being here with us. And um, okay. And Ellen just reminded everybody to use that
Mhm.
affirmation of abundance and make it your own in whatever way that works for you. So, any final remarks, Lita?
I had a wonderful time today, and I'm reminded to be today and always courageous, to be bold, and to be audacious is a beautiful
Mm,
thing.
wonderful. Yes, it is.
Thank
And
you.
it may be frightening. So, what do? Pray about it. And if you have
Right.
difficulty, use
Or,
us.
or we'll
Okay.
pray for you. Yes.
Yeah, we'll pray for your boldness and to be sacredly audacious. Okay.
Mhm.
So yeah, absolutely. And you're welcome, everyone. Everybody is chiming in on the comments. Thank you. This is why we're here for you. Um,
Yes.
we're called into action for you.
Mhm.
And we're going to do our closing prayer. And
Okay.
and here we go. And we have a great song afterwards. So stick around for the song. I'm sure many of you have never heard it and you will want to hear it. So knowing that right where I am, the I am presence where everyone is the I am. Oh, what a great time. What a great time to exercise our spiritual muscles and in being holy, bold. Woo, being bold in a holy way, in sacred audacity. Have the audacity mm, to dare whew, to rise up above who you have been, to have a grand rising in consciousness, and therefore show up in your life in a wonderful, powerful way. Today, and as Madeline mentioned, in each now moment, we get to be open and receptive, to be vulnerable to our greatness having its way, having its sway. And I give thanks as we get to model this as well for others. Because what good is it to do it for ourselves behind closed doors? Be be bold and audacious in letting your spirit shine, flow forth, allowing your good be a wonderful opportunity for others to see and to practice and to be. For this and so much more, I give thanks, releasing this word, knowing it is already showing up, manifesting in wonderful, powerful ways. I simply say yes to it right here, right now, and now it is. Peace and blessings, beloveds.